Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Love Kills by Melanin Mayhem Podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. Let me tell you, Love Kills brings you the stories of relationships and situationships of all kinds that took a hard left off into some gangster shit that ended in somebody getting their water turned off permanently. You know what I'm saying? And while we focus on serial killers and serial offenders and high body count shenanigans on Melanin Mayhem, Love Kills is more of the one-off variety of killations. You know, one fucked up individual did something real trifling and fucked up one time, and I just gotta tell you what that one thing was. Understand this, whatever the fuckery it was that might not rise to the level of a Melanin Mayhem story, please understand the shit they did was entirely uncalled for and audacious as fuck in many cases. So listen, I got a story. You want to hear it? Well, here we go. So today we want to talk about how the love between family can end up killing somebody. Now, when I came across this story, I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta tell my peoples about this because what in the entire fuck? New Orleans Nation, let me tell you, I am forever team don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Find you something else to do because crime clearly is not for you. But if we doing crime, the same crime, then we all that's doing the crime should get the same amount of time. At least that's how I feel. But baby, when I tell you how this situation didn't follow that thought pattern, you are going to be clutching your pearls and talking what the fuck, just like I was. So I'm going to tell you about a little bit of background. I don't normally do this, but I got to tell you a little bit. A woman named Linda Wood showed up in Guthrie, Oklahoma in 1974. Now, Linda, she wasn't but 16 years old. Definitely young and dumb. Don't know shit about shit. Well, when Linda got there, she met Raymond Gross. And ooh, child, Ray, he took Linda on a whole ass ride. You see, Linda was a member of the Paper Plate Nation. And Ray, maybe you could tell by the nickname, he was a whole ass Wakandian, right? Ray was also 28 years old, married, and a whole ass police officer. And he was a mean motherfucker. Ooh. Linda say he would knock the Mario coins out that ass on a regular basis. And in between the beatings came the children. They have a boy named Andre, he's the oldest. Then came Jatan, they called him Jake. And then the baby of the bunch, his name was Tremaine. These three boys of mixed descent growing up in Oklahoma with their mama, who their sperm donor regularly terrorized, baby. And if them boys tried to step in and protect their mama, then they would end up mollywop too. And, you know, like I said, normally I don't talk about the familial situations of our subjects on Love Kills, but I think that it's important in this story because it does add just a tiny little bit of context to the type of environment and upbringing that contributed to these boys becoming the type of men that they did. Like I said, I just thought it was interesting. So the boys, they're growing up in a home full of dysfunction and abuse. They say Raymond was like a creative sociopath. He would torture all of they ass in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Linda had a rough life, and her boys had a rough life too. Courtesy of the baby daddy married police officer. And so here we have a police officer of the goddamn law doing all sorts of unlawful shit. And who you gonna call? I mean, his fellow boys in blue, they ain't gonna do shit. Which, side note, that's why I would never date a cop. Ooh, no. You will never be able to legally stalk me or fuck me up, and I can't really do nothing about it. So what we have here is like a classic case of everything was fucked up from jump. Now, these boys, they live in Oklahoma, which ain't the most progressive place for mixed race relations, especially back in the day. Linda's a snow bunny with a taste for dark chocolate. That was frowned upon. Linda has 3 mixed race boys in Oklahoma where the state racial makeup is like 80% Paper Plate Nation and around 15% Wakandian and 5% everybody else. So, you know, we might call Linda's boys mixed race now in 2025, but when they was coming up, they was just black. It wasn't no mixed race. One drop rule was in full effect, right? We're talking black boys in predominantly white spaces 24/7. Because again, Black being raised by a white woman in a state that didn't want to see them with shit. I am not going in on Linda. I'm just reporting the facts. Linda did the best she could. I mean, she did finally end up getting away from Ray Ray and set out trying to make a better way for her and her boys, right? She went to school, got her degrees, she's working. Again, trying to do better by herself. It's what we do. But that also means that Linda was not at home and them boys was on their own. And you know what happened. Idle hands, devil's work. You might have heard that. And I think it's funny how sometimes when you look at like a trio of children, one family, there's usually one that is a studious, good kid, good head on their shoulders, There's one that's always into some shit, hitting licks on a first name basis with bail bondsmen and whatnot. And then that third one is usually influenced by one of the other two. So in this particular situation, so Andre was the oldest and the studious child. He kept his head in them books and his ass out them streets. Honey, he was not going to get caught up. He wanted to do right by his mama. He wanted to save his mama and rescue the family and lift them up, right? Well, Jatan, a.k.a. Jake, the middle son, he was the one that was always in and out of trouble. So whenever Jake was around, meaning whenever he wasn't locked up, he was a menace. Think O-Dog and Menace to Society. Just a YN to the core. And then you got Tremaine. Tremaine is the baby. He is influenced by one of his older brothers. Unfortunately, he is influenced by Jake, the brother that is in and out of trouble all the damn time. So, when Jake wasn't around, meaning whenever he was locked up, Tremaine would do more like his brother Andre. He would be more into trying to make something out of himself. He would be working. He even had a girl. They had a baby. So Tremaine was on his, I want to be a good father. I want to be a good role model. Okay, that's wonderful. But it's also because Jake is not around. But oh, baby, Jake do a lot of shit, but none of the shit that he's done keeps him locked up for long periods of time. And so Jake eventually gets out of jail after being locked down, and suddenly all that do the right thing that Tremaine was on, that shit is out the door. And I'm not hating. Like, I understand that shit happens. It just, in family dynamics, shit happens, right? So Tremaine's baby mama, I briefly mentioned, her name is Brandy Warden. Now, Jake got a little shawty too. Her name is Lanita Bateman. They are not, serious like Brandy and Tremaine were, but they was kicking it with each other. Now, Brandy and Lanita, need to let you know, are members in good standing of the Caucasus Mountain peoples, right? So that will be important as we get into this story. You got two brothers, they hanging out all the time. Of course, they girls hang out with them, so they all know each other well. However the shit happened, a plot is hatched to hit a lick on New Year's Eve. Okay, there's some things that we could be doing on New Year's Eve. Hitting a lick ain't got to be one of them. We should be getting ready for the new year. Happy, joyous, all of that stuff. But oh no, not these two. They are going to do the most. So it's New Year's Eve 2001. We're talking late night, right? First up in their what we gonna do tonight's hitting these licks, they do a strong-armed robbery at this place, La Franca Pizza. It's over on South Santa Fe Avenue in Oklahoma City. It's about 10:30 that night. So, okay, they've knocked over a pizza joint, but they're still on the prowl because the night is still young, right? So now they're going to go somewhere else and look for a mark. It's New Year's Eve, so, they got some places to choose from. They eventually go to this, restaurant, bar type of situation, and the plan is the girls are going to go in, they're going to pick somebody to trick off with and get them to leave and go to the room, and what'll happen from there. So, inside this little eatery, drinkery type of place is a couple of friends. These friends are migrant workers, right? And they are also members in good standing of the Salt Gang. But they are a special blend of salt. These workers, these two friends, oh baby, they're green as a blade of grass because they are from a sheltered culture. Oh yes, they are of the Hutterite peoples. Now, Let me tell you what the Hutterite peoples are. You see, Hutterites, they are a communal Christian group. Think Amish or Mennonite, a group of people that live together. They don't really fuck with the peoples in the world. They do their own thing, their own way, right? In this particular instance, the Hutterite people, they live a communal lifestyle and they share everything. Like, nobody owns private property. There is no, this is my shit. This is our shit. And if you down, we got you. But if you're going to be down, you're going to dress a certain way, you're going to pray a certain way, you're going to live a certain old school biblical kind of way, right? Like the Mennonites, like the Amish. Well, these two Hutterite young men, Ronnie Whip and his friend Arnold Kleinsasser. Ooh, honey, these names are going to kill me. They are driving from Montana to Texas. It's New Year's Eve. The holidays are over and it's time for them to go back to work, right? They work on farms. They're migrant workers. That's how they contributed to the community pot back on the commune, right? So it's New Year's Eve and they decide to stop and get a room in Oklahoma City and get some rest on their way to Texas, right? They'll hit the road in the morning. So they pull off and they get a room at the Ramada Inn. Basic hotel, nothing fancy, nothing flashy, right? But again, it's New Year's Eve, and these boys, even though they're from the commune, they done seen a couple of things, and they're thinking, you know what, it's New Year's Eve, why not celebrate a little bit? So they go downstairs to the bar. Well, they have a drink or two, bring in the New Year, right? And at the bar, they meet these two lovely young ladies. Ooh, these women are chatting them up and flirting with them and shit. And expeditiously, an invitation to go back to the room for some $40 services was extended. Well, them kosher salt boys was like, hell yeah, let's go. So they go to Ronnie and Arnold's room. On the way there, however, they worked out a price for said services. They're going to give these two ladies $210 for a little something strange for this little piece of change. That's like, what, $105 a piece? Okay, if in 2001 that was the going price for coochie on New Year's, I mean, hey, maybe it was a discount sale. I don't know. Not the point. So, but y'all already see where this is going, right? You do know what's about to happen. Sure you do. If you don't, let me tell you. They get in the room, and then the next thing you know, here come two masked men busting in. One of these men got a gun. The other one has a knife. So they got on trench coats, gloved up, masked up, all of this, right? And so, basically they're on there, run your money, run it, and the girls run out the room. So now it's just the two armed robbers and Ronnie and Arnold. Well, they end up wanting the cash. So Ronnie and Arnold, they give them some cash. They got $68. What? Wait a minute. I thought the deal was for $210 for the cootie cat. You mean to tell me y'all was finna rope-a-dope them hoes? Ooh, Ronnie and Arnold. Y'all do know some things from the commune, huh? This is not funny. Stay focused, Renee. Okay, so at this point, they talking shit, right? Because $6 to $8 funky dollars, this ain't gonna cut it on New Year's Eve. What I'm supposed to do with this? So remember, Ronnie and Arnold from the Special Salt Gang peoples, well, they wasn't really trying to hear what these masked robbers were saying. I mean, they from the farm. They wrestle farm animals and shit. So they was kind of ready to box a little bit. At least Ronnie was. And so the next thing you know, Ronnie is tussling with the dude with the gun. Now, how all this actually went down, I'm not exactly totally sure. But because one of them got away, I feel like it went down something like this. Jake is tussling with Ronnie. And Tremaine is just standing there looking like titties on a bull, just out of place and don't know what to do with yourself, right? So Ronnie is giving Jake a run for his money because even though Jake got a gun, Ronnie wants the smoke. So in the midst of Jake and Ronnie arguing, fighting, tussling, Arnold manages to not get into it with nobody and is able to run out the hotel room door. Not only does he run out the door, this nigga hauls, he ain't no nigga, you know understand what I'm saying. This man hauls ass and runs and hides. Now, again, for me, This just makes me think Tremaine don't know nothing about being no goddamn gangster, because rule number 1, you don't let your mark get out the door while the holdup is still going down. I mean, I ain't never robbed nobody, but I would think that if I'm laying 2 or 3 people down, I ain't gonna let nobody get up out of here before the robberation is over. You know what I'm saying? That kind of defeats the purpose. Now, in this particular instance, the gun is not used. So even though the robber has a gun, he ain't shoot nobody with it. But the other robber, who is not fighting with anyone, who came in the door with a knife, somehow ends up giving the knife to the dude that had the gun. Tremaine, you ain't no gangster, but your brother is. Whatever happened with that gun, it didn't go off, it jammed. Maybe you ain't even have no bullets. That was just for show. However it was, your brother was like, hey, let me get that right down so I can handle this little piece right here. And the next thing you know, there is a knife 5 inches deep in Ronnie's chest. Ronnie is on the floor, bleeding out. Well, at this point, the robbery is over. It's time to go. So them niggas throw 2 deuces up in the sky and they dip off, right? Well, this was a commotion going on. I mean, this is not no quiet-ass fight. And it's at the Ramada Inn, so there are people that are hearing said commotion. And somebody done called 12, right? And so by the time the police show up, they find Ronnie deader than a motherfucker. And so they, cordoning off the area, and the people are showing up, and the lights is flashing and shit. And they see that Ronnie was checked in to the hotel with another man named Arnold. Well, where the fuck he at? They're trying to figure out, did he do this to Ronnie, or is he somewhere fucked up? Y'all, this tickled me. Because where the fuck is Arnold? Baby, please tell me why Arnold is still hiding. This motherfucker stayed here for 2 whole hours after the robbery. Before he came out his hiding spot. Now, even with all them strobe lights, all of this activity, Arnold has not dawned on him that, you know what? I've been in my hiding spot. I don't know whether he was in the bushes or in a trash dumpster. The reports vary as to where he was hiding at, but whether it was in the trash dumpster or in the bushes, at some point in time, I mean, you weren't so far away from this hotel that 1, you shouldn't have been able to see the blue flashing lights, or 2, hearing the walkie-talkies and the squawking and the people talking. At some point, someone should have been like, well, it's people out here. Maybe I can get help. But no, Arnold stayed hid for 2 hours. This motherfucker was scared shitless. This type of thing don't happen on the commune. Ooh, I got to get back. This world, I ain't ready for the world. Scared him straight. So Arnold, he finally decides to come out of his hiding place. And the police, they get him, and, they let him know that Ronnie done gone on to the upper room. And Arnold tells them what went down and who did it. He don't know who did it. He just know 2 armed men busted in his room and took their money. That's what he told the police. Well, a couple of hours passed by, and the story ain't quite adding up. So the police, they press Arnold a little bit more about, hey man, what actually happened New Year's Eve night? And Arnold gone on ahead and come on out with telling about the girls, about, they met a couple of girls at the bar and they was going to go back and go get jiggy with them. And then, everything went left. And so the police at that point, okay, now they got something to work with. They go run some tape back, and they figure out that one of these women that was with them that night was 21-year-old Brandy Warden. Oh my God, that is Tremaine's baby mama, who is also a member in good standing of the Casserole Caucus peoples. So, they went and snatched her good standing ass up on January 3rd, 2002, and promptly charged her with first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm. Baby, y'all know, as soon as she got her ass in the interrogation room, she gave up everybody. Baby, loose lips sink ships, and Brandy was out to save herself. So now the cops are looking for Tremaine, Lanita, and Jake. Now, they scooped up Jake and Lanita the very next day on January 4th in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. They had went up to some of Lanita's people's houses. You can't run, baby. Being a member of the Saltine Nation is not gonna save you, Lanita. You done got jungle fever. You got the answer for this shit. They quickly arrested their asses, and they also quickly extradited them back to Oklahoma City. So now they got 3 of the 4. They don't have Tremaine yet. Well, they plastered Tremaine's face everywhere, and of course he was arrested expeditiously, and all of them are now facing felony murder. Now, with felony murder in Oklahoma, you ain't gotta prove who actually stabbed Ronnie. As long as you was there, all of y'all are just as guilty. They can make this shit stick, right? And I want to pause just for a second right here to bring up something that from this point forward starts to happen, and it's just crazy to me. They stay messing up the spelling of Tremaine's name. I'm like, from this point on, from the putting of the wanted poster, they spelled his name wrong. So instead of it being Tremaine, Tremane, they spelled it Termaine, Termane. Tremaine Wood is who we looking for. Who the fuck is Tremaine Wood? That's not my name. My name is Tremaine. Like, for me, it bothers me because people mispronouncing my name or spelling my name wrong. It's a pet peeve of my own, but I'm just saying, if I don't care what you want to call this, black, cultural, ethnic, however black people, ethnic people, people of cultural backgrounds are treated in predominantly white spaces rubs me the wrong way when these predominantly white spaces won't even say the goddamn name right. Like spell check anyone. We talking 2002. Spell check was a thing. It was a whole last thing. This man's name is Tremaine. Tremane. When I tell you, as I'm trying to look up the articles from back in the day, the case files, I kept coming up, can't find nothing. When I misspelled his name, now I got all kind of articles. Like what? Ooh, that again burns my biscuits. But it's not just the newspaper. I'm also talking about on legal documents. Nobody bothered to spell this man's name correctly from this point forward. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. Okay, let me put my soapbox up because that ain't got shit to do with shit, in the grand scheme of things. But it's just, again, something that just bothers me. So, okay, we know that Brandy Warden took a plea deal to testify against them. Brandy got 45 years. She was charged with accessory to murder after the fact and conspiracy to commit murder with a dangerous weapon. In other words, Brandy was a snitch. And at this point, other than Brandy, everybody got the same charges: first-degree murder, robbery, and conspiracy. And I am cool with that. Like, we all was there. We all get charged the same way. Yeah, on paper, that sounded good, right? Just coming out of my mouth, it sounded good. But the reality was, the fix was in. Let me tell you, when a trial lawyer is faced with a case as heavy as this one is about to be, where their clients are facing either the death penalty or life in prison, heavy time, you know what I'm saying? The first steps are to get their client either pled down to lesser charges or make a run for the least amount of time for them to do. Like if they want to give you death, let's see if we can at least get death off the table. If they want to give you life, let's see if we can get life off the table. I mean, that's just basic. If you watch Law and Order, that's what the fuck they go. You don't even have to have a JD to understand that. Well, Salt Gang baby mama Brandy, we know she got the plea deal. She gonna get the lightest sentence of everybody. And we always know that the snitch always gets the sweetest piece of the pie. Brandy says she got kids and she want to at least be there for the second generation at some point in time. Okay, whatever. But them brothers, ooh, they got fucked. And by the brothers that got fucked, I mean Tremaine. So these boys didn't have the coins to go out and hire a good death penalty lawyer, so they had to get court-appointed lawyers. And this is where the bullshit come in. And for me, like, this is the main reason why I wanted to do this story, not because of the crime that they committed, but because of what happened when they went to trial. I have always heard about a court-appointed attorney. I get that. I know what that is. You ain't got no money. You can't buy your own or purchase your own attorney. The services, I mean, of your own attorney. Then the court will appoint you a lawyer. But y'all, it's levels to this shit, right? And I didn't know that. So Jake, he gets a court-appointed attorney from the Oklahoma Indigent Defense System. And that's normally what I think of when I think of a court-appointed attorney. It's from the Indigent Defense System, whatever state it is, right? In Oklahoma, however, their rule book says that the Oklahoma Indigent Defense System could not represent both Jake and Tremaine because that would be a conflict of interest. They can only represent one. And for whatever reason, luck of the draw, his name came first, whatever it was, he got to get a lawyer from Indigent Defense. Well, Tremaine still has to have a lawyer too. So the judge appoints a private attorney to now be Tremaine's attorney pro bono. Right? Pro bono in the fact that Tremaine doesn't have to pay them. The court system will pay them, right? And ooh, child, when I tell you the motherfucker that they picked to be Tremaine's lawyer, ooh, he was terrible. I mean terrible with a capital T. The man's name was John Albert, and he was trash. And I don't say that lightly. This motherfucker was trash. Y'all, while Jake's team of lawyers are pulling in expert witnesses. Well, first of all, it's a team of lawyers. It's not just one lawyer. He's got a team of lawyers that are working to get Jake the best possible outcome he can get. They are pulling in expert witnesses. They are compiling studies. They are making arguments to get evidence thrown out. They are going to get character witnesses. They're going into Jake's background and trying to see how they can present it to show how his horrible upbringing contributed to the man he became and the acts that he committed. Like, they are doing the work to get their client off. Tremaine's lawyer ain't doing shit. Like, literally, y'all, he is not doing a motherfucking thing. He ain't even come see Tremaine while he was locked up. Not one time. Not one face-to-face. Let me put eyes on my client that I am about to defend in a death penalty trial. Let me at least see what he looked like. No. And on his own paperwork for his client, he got Tremaine's name spelled wrong. What the fuck? Oh, and if that wasn't bad enough, let me tell you, this is like the icing on a fucked up cake. John Albert, Tremaine's lawyer, oh baby, he was swimming at the bottom of a barrel in his personal life. This man was a stone cold cokehead drunk. Like, when I say drunk, this motherfucker was drunk and geeked out his mind all the damn time. At this point where he's representing Tremaine in a death penalty case. Like, y'all, it was bad. It was bad. Now, understand, before Tremaine went to court, Lanita and Brandy's cases, they went on ahead and got taken care of. Lanita went to court in like 2003 and she ended up getting a guilty verdict and was sentenced to a life sentence for the murder plus 101 years for the robbery and 10 years for the conspiracy, and all of that time was supposed to run concurrent. But she ain't getting killed. The death penalty wasn't even on the goddamn table. Like, okay, so we all did this crime. We're all supposed to do the same kind of time, but y'all ain't gonna charge her with the death penalty. That was only for the men, the black men. The white women, they didn't get that, but okay, we ain't gonna go there, right? Now, Tremaine, he was charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery, conspiracy to commit a felony. Those were his 3 charges. And again, at his trial, ooh, honey, his pussy ass, unprepared, coked out lawyer, he ain't even got a concept of a plan to defend Tremaine. To say he was not prepared doesn't even qualify and quantify how this man went up in this Oklahoma courtroom. This man is so not prepared that Jake, Tremaine's brother, the one that got him into all of this shit, he tells his lawyers that he wants to testify on behalf of his brother. He wants to go to Tremaine's trial and he wants to get on the stand and be a witness for his brother. He wants to get on the stand and tell everybody that he was the one that stabbed Ronnie, not Tremaine. Well, of course, Jake's good lawyers that have been doing the work to keep this nigga alive was like, sir, absolutely not. You will not get on the stand. You will remain silent. You will shut the fuck up. It's free. But Jake knows that Tremaine is in this fucked up situation because of him, and he can't just let it go down like that. I mean, that's how bad Tremaine's lawyer was. Jake was like, fuck it. Oh, I'm going to get up there and save my baby brother. I can't let him go out like this. Now, and he did. He had his way. Jake got on that stand and testified for his brother. Now, if he had just got on the stand and said that he was the one that jugged Ronnie up and left it at that, it might have worked out in the way that they thought it was going to work out by Jake testifying. But that ain't what Jake did. Jake did the most. Jake gets on the stand and started telling bold-faced lies under oath. He says that, yes, he did the stabbing of Ronnie. But then he goes on to say, I don't even know why y'all charging my brother. He wasn't even there. It was me and another dude. Sir, Brandy and Lanita done already been to trial. They done already testified that all y'all was there. You, your brother, and them two. Tremaine himself has already gone on record saying that, yeah, I was there. I just didn't kill nobody. I was there at the robbery. I didn't kill nobody. So now you going to get up here on the stand, one hand on the Bible, the other hand in the air, and tell this bold-faced ass lie that Tremaine wasn't even in the building? Sir, now you changing the story to try to help your little brother, but you actually making him look more guilty, as well as you are committing perjury. I mean, but that tells you just how bad Tremaine's lawyer was. For Jake to get on that stand like that lawyer was horrible, y'all. And if the lawyer wasn't going to put on a case, somebody had to. So big brother put that on his back. I'm going to try to do the best I can. Y'all, I mean, I keep saying it. Tremaine's lawyer billed the state of Oklahoma for 2 hours. 2 hours worth of work. That's all he billed for a death penalty case. 2 hours. Normally, in normal death penalty cases, we're talking hundreds of hours are billed to the state because people are working and doing what they need to do to get their client off, researching, making calls, doing interviews, meeting with their client. That shit takes time and they bill by the hour. This man billed the state of Oklahoma for 2 hours. 120 minutes for a death penalty case. Do y'all see how fucked up this was? This man ain't cross-examined no witnesses. He ain't tried to challenge no evidence. Like, the prosecution at Tremaine's trial says that he was the stabber, but at Jake's trial, they said Jake was the stabber. And Tremaine's lawyer just letting the shit ride. He ain't challenging shit. He ain't bringing up shit. Like, he just there. Titties on a bull. I mean, even the judge is looking at the lawyer side-eyed. I mean, everybody can see that Tremaine does not have effective counsel. But nobody is doing anything about it. They just letting it ride. Like, what in the entire fuck? Now, the judge at Tremaine's trial, Judge Ray Elliott, he has a reputation of being on some racist bullshit. The jury at Tremaine's trial only had one black person on it, one black woman, And she said that she felt bullied into going along with the majority white vote. She didn't feel like she could stand up. She saw how bad this man's attorney was. She didn't want to convict him. She felt he did it, but she didn't feel like he had adequate representation. But she had to go along with what the majority white jury wanted to do. So in case you haven't figured it out by now, the jury came back with a guilty verdict for Tremaine, and they gave his ass the death penalty. But his brother Jake, the one who openly admitted from the jump that he was the one that did the stabbing of Ronnie Whiff, he told that shit to any and everybody who would listen, from the time they arrested him to the time he went to court. But he didn't get the death penalty. He got life in prison. Life in prison. The one that said he did it. But the one that said he didn't do it gets the death penalty? The other two chicks, they don't get no death penalty? Out of the 4, only one gets the death penalty? How is that fair? But here's the kicker, y'all. This is the cherry on a shitty ass cake. When the jury delivered its verdict, tell me why Tremaine's lawyer, that motherfucker John Albert, he slipped Tremaine a little piece of paper. The paper said, "I'm sorry, you got me at a bad time." Motherfucker, what? Baby, the way I came across that table at that motherfucking lawyer. We'd have been moving furniture all up and through there. Y'all finna kill me anyway. I'm gonna give you a whole ass reason, because I'm finna take this motherfucker out. You sorry? Y'all, again, I read this shit and was like, oh, I got to tell this story. I got to tell New World Nation about this bullshit here. So now Tremaine is sitting on death row waiting for execution for a crime his brother committed and don't nobody kill. So, of course, you know, with the death penalty case, with that verdict comes the automatic appeals, right? And in all the appeal documents, Tremaine's name is still spelled wrong, and they are denying each and every last one of his appeals, including the ones for ineffective counsel. They said, you know what, yeah, perhaps your lawyer wasn't the best, but him not being the best really don't have no sway in how the verdict would have came out. They probably still would have killed your ass. But here's the gotcha. How about John Albert, Tremaine's attorney? He was defending 2 other death penalty clients around the same time as Tremaine's trial. These other 2 death penalty clients, they was members of the Pale Posse. When they filed their appeals, they were given new trials because they had ineffective counsel. Yeah, their attorney, John Albert, wasn't good. But they stayed denying Tremaine's request for a new trial, for somebody to look at his sentencing. Okay, if y'all don't want to give me a new trial, change my sentence. Give me life. Why I can't get life like everybody else? But you know, if I was to say they did it like that because Tremaine was black, they'll swear it ain't the reason. No, race didn't play into this. What are you talking about? Y'all so quick to go to race. So now Tremaine is marked for death. Him and the crew, they go off to their respective prisons or whatever. But how about this bullshit now? This is just crazy. Now, Jake, the brother who did not get a death penalty verdict, Jake, the brother who got everybody into this shit because Jake stayed trying to hit a lick. Jake, who built for this, right? He going in and out of prison, right? Why this motherfucker killed himself in 2019? Sir, how you gonna check out early and leave everybody else in this mess that you came up with? No, sir. See? I can't. Let's just move on. So Tremaine, he had a couple of execution dates, right? And he got a couple of stays. But then they was like, you know what? For real, we're going to disconnect your water November 13th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Now, y'all know that was just last month. So that's why I was waiting to do this case because, oh my God, I was trying to see, are they going to literally kill this man? The date, November 13th, last month, it's the day of the murderation, right? The state-sponsored killing. And so everybody's waiting around to see if anybody is going to stop the execution. Anybody being the Supreme Court or the governor, because those are the two entities that have the power to make this shit go away. So remember, he's supposed to be killed at 10 a.m. Well, around 9:20 that morning, the Supreme Court was like, I'm going to make it easy on you. We don't give a fuck. Have at him. Shit. Tell Lucifer we said what's up, nigga. So, Tremaine is in the death chamber because this is 9:20, 9:30 now. He got to be gone in 30 minutes, right? This train is pulling out. So they are doing what they do to get an inmate ready to leave here, right? So, Tremaine is in the death chamber. Time is ticking down. Time is ticking down. 9:45. We still ain't heard from nobody. 9:50. Still ain't heard from nobody. 9:51. Tremaine, it ain't looking good. 9:52. Oh shit, Tremaine. 9:53. Ain't no phones ringing. 9:54. Nope. 9:55. God damn it, Tremaine. You got 5 minutes left on this earth. What the fuck? 9:56. Deep breaths. We got this, Tremaine. We got this. 9:57. Okay, nigga, in 3 minutes, Dougie Fresh is on. 9:58. Okay, let's get ready, y'all. 9:59. The phone rings. The governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, his office is on the line. Go on, let that little nigga up. We're going to let him just ride it out in prison. 1 minute before they were going to end his life. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Tremaine was prepped and ready to go on to the other side. That is cruel and unusual punishment. You knew when you got up this morning you weren't going to kill that man. So why the fuck you make us go through all of this? His son drove up there to be at the execution because he had a baby, remember? That baby when all of this went down, this baby is a grown-ass man now. But this baby drove to make sure that his father was not alone when he took his last breath. This man is sitting up here crying because it's 9:59 and he is coming to terms with my daddy finna go. And here y'all come talking about, psych, what the fuck? That is not right. You done made your peace. You done hyped yourself up to the fact that this is it. And then they just like, never mind. They take Tremaine back to his cell on death row. And they like, hey, your sentence has been commuted, so you don't live on death row no more. Get your shit. We moving you to Gen Pop. They say Tremaine felt like, I don't blame him. The sheer pressure that was lifted off of his body, I would have passed out too. Fucked up, man. I would still be drunk. The fuck? I cannot. The manner of extremes in this case are just ridiculous. So now Tremaine is serving a life sentence at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. And as of 2025, he is 45 years old. Whew, child. As I read this story and I'm, just thinking about what I'm going to say, all that kept going through my mind was, what if Tremaine had just told his brother, nah, bro, let me out the car. Just let me out the car. Me and Brandon finna go home, man. We got children. We ain't got time for this, man. We got to go. Maybe both of them would still be free today. Like Jake might actually still be alive today. Maybe have had an opportunity to turn his life around. But that bond, that love for his big brother made him stay in that bullshit. It made him be down to pull a caper that put him and his baby mama in jeopardy. Like, Tremaine Wood made a stupid-ass decision that cost him his freedom. I mean, they all made stupid-ass decisions that night. They were young, though. And that's what young people do. Young people do some stupid shit. One moment of, fuck this, can change the trajectory of your whole ass life. And one moment for them, one New Year's Eve spree where we just gonna turn up and just YN all over the place, almost cost Tremaine his life. I'm sorry. I mean, I think I tell people all the time, I want to leave Georgia. I've been here my whole life. I want to go see how you do it somewhere else, but I'm scared. I'm scared to leave. I'm scared. God knows I'm scared, because if you move, you live somewhere where one of these states where they don't give a fuck about DEI, that they are actively trying to see black people going back to the fields and chains and shit, and they talk to you and act towards you any kind of way. I don't want to live in that type of environment. And Atlanta is full because everybody keep moving here, but I'm safe. I feel safer here. I feel like somebody got my back a little bit. If I go up in Fulton County courtroom and my lawyer ain't shit, somebody, one of them black judges gonna be like, hey, what's going on here? The fuck? Like, somebody got my back. Somebody has our back. So the thought of going somewhere else, like a Montana or North Dakota, and I know we are there, all I can say is, y'all be careful. Be careful. Be careful when safety is not found in great numbers. Y'all be careful. I mean, because you would think that somebody seeing and knowing that the court-appointed lawyer is fucked up would be reason enough for somebody to step in and pull you out of it. I'm not saying that they should have said, you know what, forget this, Tremaine. You had a horrible lawyer. You ain't got to do no time. I'm not saying that at all, but somebody should have been like, you know what, goddamn, your lawyer ain't shit. The judge who appointed this lawyer should have been like, oh, my bad, this ain't gonna work. We're gonna have to do something because we can't let this go down like this. But no, they will watch you get fucked over and over and over again. It's not even like we can say, oh, this happened so many years ago. This was back in the day, way back in the day, Jim Crow. No, this was 2002 to 2014. That's present time. We're talking 10, 12 years ago. The fuck? Like, no. Be careful, y'all. Be careful. Be careful. Let this be a cautionary tale. Don't get caught up. Ooh, please don't get caught up. Brandy is out. She doing her thing. Lanita and Tremaine, they ain't gonna never see freedom. And Jake, he probably looking up at them from down below, wishing that he had chosen another path instead of the one that led him south to the fires and his baby brother to prison for the rest of his goddamn life. Sometimes you have got to love your people from afar, and that takes courage. It takes chutzpah. And I ain't saying it's easy, but practice makes perfect. I think in all our lives there is someone we love. It could be family, it could be a friend, but that person brings out the worst in our character. We ain't talking about that auntie that just like talking about folks at the reunion. That's somebody that's good fun to sit by. You ain't gonna get in no trouble with auntie. Y'all just gonna talk about everybody that walk in the room. I'm talking about that cousin that can convince you to 5-finger discount some shit at the store. Here, put this in your bag. Man, let's get this shit. You walk out, when you walk out with your cousin, they done stole everything they done seen in this goddamn store. Or maybe you got one of them uncles that's always got a scam, and they always looking for you to help them pull some shit off. Baby, in the year of our Lord 2025, please understand, it ain't a person on the planet that should be able to walk you into a prison sentence. Ain't none of your kin worth you needing a bail bondsman. Not in 2025. Oh no, something where you might have to get you a court-appointed attorney who might fuck you. Oh, no. I didn't even think this was possible, y'all. I just knew that the court itself would step in when it sees something that ain't right. Like, this has rocked me to my core. The bailiff, somebody should have said something. Why the court reporter wasn't like, you know what, this some bullshit, Your Honor. What the fuck? But didn't nobody care. Because it was a black man. Baby, I can get in trouble all by myself. And actually, that's my preferred way to get in trouble. I ain't gonna snitch on myself, and I know how to hide my own damn skeletons. When two or more know what the fuck went down, that's just an opportunity for somebody to throw you under the bus and save themselves. Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna throw myself under the bus. But that's humans. Snitches don't always get stitches. Sometimes they get a free pass from prison. All right, y'all. Let's talk about this shit on social media because, baby, this was team too much. Fuckery and foolishness on a whole different level. Hit me up. Y'all know how to get at me. I am Melanin Mayhem Podcast on all of the social media sites, and on X, I am Melanin Mayhem PC. My email address is melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com if that is more your ministry. Don't forget that there is a fabulous discussion group. We are almost at 1,000 members, y'all. Oh my God, if we bust 1,000 before the new year, I don't know what I'm going to do. Be like, oh my God, look at us. So if you would like to be down with the private discussion group, head on over to Facebook. You can search for Melanin Mayhem Podcast Discussion Group. Answer a couple of questions, and I will let you in. Even if you don't answer the questions, I'm letting you in. I ain't no gatekeeper like that. If you joined, I'm down. Let's go. Now, today, Friday, tomorrow is the event. So you are down to the last hours, honey, where you get your ticket to the Black True Crime Collective's Season Slayings live show that is going down tomorrow, December 13th. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Eventbrite and get your ticket because, baby, a time will be had. If you need the link, you can look in the show notes as well as on the social media pages. The link is there, I promise you. And if you send me a DM, I will send you the link personally, honey, because I want you to be there. You ain't got to spend your gas. You ain't got to put on no cute outfit, honey. We want you in your best ugly sweater because there's a contest for it all. I can't wait to see y'all because we going to kiki and we going to cut up, honey. So, okay, I got to get up out of here. It's time for me to go and do what I do when I do what I do to cut this thing and mold it and stretch it and do what I need to do to get it ready to produce for the posting for tomorrow. So until the next story ends in tears and tragedy and relationships take a hit, y'all stay safe, honey. Play that shit smart. And remember, love and emotions will make you do some crazy shit. Please, please, for the love of Black Jesus, don't fuck around and be on an episode of Love Kills, because I will talk about you. I will see you again in 2 Fridays for another Love Kills type of situation. And, of course, every Wednesday you can get your fix of Melanin Mayhem, baby. Thank you so much for streaming, and your favorite country girl is out of here.
Woo-wee, Nana, you did that.